world and welcome to my world. Look at the world that is. Nemanja, good morning. This kind of wintry day. Thanks for inviting Sufe. Everyone, please invite and share. Look at the diamonds looking back at us. I love these colors. Hi, doctor. Welcome. So not. How are you? Great. See everyone. Is it windy, by the way? Because I feel a bit of wind here and there. I might have to put on the headphones. So we're actually walking from the Dobrota to Kotor. Just have to do some. Thanks for the super heart, Nemanja. Appreciate it. From Emmy, welcome. Hello. Did I pronounce it properly? You'll get. Thanks. The first day on Periscope, you'll get. Hello. So this is actually. There are no snow like the southern Germany. Actually, yeah, you see all of that snow. A little windy here. Yeah, sorry about that. If it's too windy, we'll need to stop and then I'll just go over somewhere and put on the headphones. But look at those tops, mountain tops. This is very unusual sight, actually. This is very unusual, especially to have that amount of snow. So a cold winter. I think Belgrade is in the same situation, isn't it, Nemanja? But we see over there, just as I was going over, I saw this church on top of that mountain, and I would love to go sometimes there. I think the views are fantastic. I know great weather today, but you should have seen it yesterday. Temperature this morning was -4. They said about 8 maximum. I'm talking Celsius in here always. So thanks so much for the super hard. But look at the crystality, all the crystalline day. Yeah, it's kind of a day for a day dreaming with the sky like that, isn't it? Just the background. Cafe bar, but nobody in it because of the cold, obviously. Oh, this is nice. That fluidity of my paintings sometimes. I normally, yeah, I said no, there's always kind of a replay, but also I always appreciate seeing you spending time together in the synchronicity. Temperature, sorry about the wind, this is probably very, very clear water. Sorry, hi. Very, no, I'm not on a boat, I'm just walking at this waterfront, you see. Pure sea waters, yes, of the Adriatic. Actually, I need the gloves. It's very cold because that also determines my shakiness. In here, I love to see. Look at these. They're so crystal during the winter time, aren't they? Here's nature has to fend for herself in this place, unfortunately. So much pollution, so much plastic everywhere. But irony is there is no industry, it's just from the people. See my face? It's like a, yes, it's a bay. So this is this is a bay. It's called Boca Bay. And Kotor is over there, that's where we. So, and behind, so you can see it's actually two sides of the bay. So now we are in the innermost corner of the bay. Is actually behind me. Sorry, in front of me is the most innermost. So historically, this is very interesting, as you can imagine. There are all the incursions of all sorts of empires and tribes and everybody that wanted control of this area. So I can still push buttons. I actually have fingerful gloves that actually are sensitive to screens, but I misplaced them. I know, it's super blue sky. Illyric Times Bridge. Yeah, Illyric, like the Illyrian tribes were in here as well, and that was very fragmented. It wasn't like a one king and everybody else subordinate. There were so many, and I suspect that's an interesting thing historically when we look at all of the defragmentation that was happening in the past, and then further closer we go to our times, the more centralization. And then now, as we are 100% centralized with all the robotics, automations, we want to get decentralized with blockchain. Isn't that interesting game? Interesting dance. Christopher, welcome. Hilarious, Illyric, they had great sense of humor. They actually believed that there are people, it's me, that there are people who can curse you with their eye, and they thought that those people had the eyes of the snake. That's what I heard at one of the lectures that I attended about the Illyrians. By the way, a lovely house. So look at that. Sorry about the car. You play a game. It makes me wonder how lucky. Yes, I know, absolutely. I think of that often. First of all, with my eyes, I know. Balkanization has its origins. Balkanization, I don't know what's the origin of the name Balkans, but people, mostly Slavic people who, according to the traditional history, came to the area in the 6th century, something like that. I have such a lovely day, absolutely, about the time speeding, 100% agree with you. Bless them, true. Have a great time, Christopher. You're showing the world off in the, absolutely, yeah, thank you. Now, let's see a bit more of the big kind of buildings that are not that inspiring behind. So that's actually a beach, just what we are passing now. I know, I love those mountains, and especially now with the snow tops. Let's go at that promontory. Like you. Yeah, well, as you said yesterday, great minds think alike. YouTube tends to make from plastic bottles. Oh yeah, about that. There was this project, centralization from consolidated power in their own hands, which is why exactly. You saw the system is correcting itself. Push off the world, absolutely. So good for commentary. It's true as well. Have a great day, Christopher. Everyone's thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Look at this now. Look at that background. Wow. Actually, I should have taken the photos. Maybe later. I don't know. This is quite very, very special. With how clear the what I know. So it seems to be a systemic self-correction. Centralized to decentralized because of the abuse. That's why it happens. In front of us. You will take a deep believe me, not at these temperatures. These temperatures would be just way too much. I can handle. Although there was one case, the guy went in, I think, minus. Oh, speaking of which, Wim Hof. Have you heard of Wim Hof? Glass bottle we take to show up for some. Yeah, glass bottle. I actually feel better when I'm drinking from the glass, but I don't know whether it's psychological. Look at. Yeah, thanks. So Wim Hof is the guy who actually mastered this technique. Okay, now it's just not so. The guy who mastered the technique of breathing, and he can preserve the body temperature always at the same, no matter what's the outside. So, have a bit of a dark spot right now. Maybe it's a second. Actually, the camera is blurred. Hold on a second. This is. Something is blurred. I have to clean this. Hold on a second. How will I do that? Okay, that relationship could and should have been good, but power corrupts. Yes. Sorry about that for a moment. Power corrupts, and hacking to get to power is even more corrupt. I don't like that. I'm a millennial. Degree is about 8. I think they say today. I don't know what's at the moment, but maximum will be about 8. The same temperature, so you also mastered that. Is it a breathing technique? stumble upon things. Good weather. In my lens, maybe. Actually, I had something. Yeah, it's very. Look at that. The mountains now. In front is just the construction site, so this is the better side to look at. The jacket then is really cold. Is the weather. Like I have Eskimo genetics, so it's on the camera. Sorry. Is it still on the edge or something? Maybe the edge I didn't put properly. Yeah, the snow is amazing. So I will now go to the old town just for a stroll. And I love this topic of centralization, decentralization. Yeah, so I think it's working now. You see, it's just nothing there, so it's better to position. It's just kind of a parky place, and it's a shopping center over there, which I have to go get the hiking boots. Weather landscape says it will go weather up. Sorry, I didn't get that about the weather up, but if you're thinking about the forecast of weather, I've noticed something strange. Like they can't predict that much nowadays. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going towards the old town, Kotor. I want to share with you a bit of how it looks. Thanks for the super heart. Oh, dog walker. I think the Australia scoper, a great scoper, right? Thanks for joining us, and also a big shout out for people to follow. And Richard is with us. Welcome, and great to see Richard that you are also sharing the world. Talk to you later. Absolutely. Dream a look at. Yeah, thank you. New York City, welcome. Then you go to Dubrovnik. One of these days I have to go to Dubrovnik. That's a great point. Yeah, of course, why not? Sensational. Look at those mountains, as if it's Switzerland or something, isn't it? And then even better, the combination. Station, you have a weather station in the garden. You know, in today's technology, we have such a wide range of results. When I'm checking in the forecast, I look at dark sky, I look at weather to umbrella, I look at weather, AccuWeather, they are widely different. And I wonder, why is that? Yes, it's a snow, Richard. Snow on the mountaintop, not so much on this one because it's towards the south, but the one on that side, look at that. We are family. I know, we all want to be, we all part of me. Mythology. You think of mythology at the times like this, Nemanja, with all of this. Well, there is a lot of mythology. There are hunters around here as well. Sorry, the West is normally hotter or cold. City, Atkins City, yeah. Oh, I understand. So I don't know why they can't master that, and we have this artificial intelligence. Like yesterday, I was reading an article about editing of the gene. It's confusing for nature. It is very much. Yeah, it's very beautiful. So I was reading an article where there was a Chinese scientist who was editing twins, and he was making this gene which supposedly makes them immune to HIV, I think. And in the end, now he's under the investigation because it didn't go through the protocol, and they've done that non-consensual. They didn't get the consent for this. So in those kind of times, and anyway, the project doesn't really make sense that much. Minerals, those ones, great question, Moon Mogul. My father is actually an engineer of geology, so he would often tell me, so it's mostly limestone, but there is some granite as well, I think, depending on which side, because this was all, I think, as a result of the earthquakes, and also this was all flooded. Everything you see was under the water. That penalty for his work, easily, Richard. I don't know what's the development. I think it happened maybe a year or two ago. No, sorry, a year ago. But I just yesterday read it on Medium. They were kind of writing down about all of these experiments that are going on and the failed stuff. Looks like an Alps, absolutely. I like kind of that it got warmer. Yeah, I think so. The climate change, I mean, it's real. Definitely. Thank you so much, the dog walker. You are amazing too. Thank you. They basically use genes to make humans live longer and not get disease. Yeah, I'm also in support to that, but it has a very high risk, so it has to be carefully done. And I think obviously the simulation is the first thing. You can't just go ahead and experiment in humans. I think that's the point and why it was the massively failed experiment. Because I think maybe I don't actually know, because I don't know the genetics that much, what actually happened in the end. There is always a side effect, you know, even when you tamper with nature. Broadcast, thank you so much. Yes, everyone, please follow and also share. Don't know if I think I'm sharing this from beta, so if there is some kind of blur or something, please everyone alert me to it. We should improve with food and stuff. Yes, absolutely. Now food is a big thing. When people ask me about this place, looks like a heaven. Like, I mean, it has so many elements of the heaven, but it also has the elements of hell. And one of those elements is because of the food. Food is unbelievably low quality in here. The unforeseen consequences always, like, it's just not in the same group of risks as something, you know, that's picture is perfect. Yeah, oh, fantastic. Blue sky, amazing mountains. I know exactly. Now you see all the nature in its most, and from the frosted to the fluid. And my art is all about the fluidity. Now I'm thinking maybe it's the water that I'm always trying to capture. You know, that's kind of, oh, look at those symbols. Just at that edge where it's lighter, I wonder. I think maybe because it's either shallower or else there are no seaweeds because it's full. I know, yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it's interesting. Mass farming and barley, I mean, yes, exactly, and all of that. And then, you know what I'm thinking? Look at those ugly houses. Why not green the roofs and make every house sustainable? You know, be like what exactly? Be like what? I love that. Bruce Lee, right? It must be some great hike. Yes, fantastic hike actually behind me. Those are excellent. I went to some, but the only problem is very bad internet coverage. So I couldn't really stream many of my, since I'm on Periscope, which is not that long considering the app. I think 2016 in May, something like that is when I started. Yeah, so about the mass farming, that's a great point. It's destroying so much. And it's also, everything is about the commercialization, but life is not that. You know, the best things are actually either free or cheap. It's close to us humans, despite healings, exactly. Hey, Keizo, welcome. Keizo, fantastic scoper from Japan. Everyone, take a look at Keizo's lovely, lovely shares from the Japan, all the shrines and loveliness. So this is Montenegro. I actually have a location on, I think, this time. Sometimes I forget because lately I'm sharing a lot of arts and so on, which is at the home. So it's difficult. It's kind of concerning because of the security. Let's just see one aspect of this under the snow. Actually, I think Keizo was with me a few times when I was sharing this location. Oh, now we are losing the sun a little bit. Wonderful. Oh, let's see those ducks as well. Yeah, so I'm thinking, I don't know, what's your opinion about the houses becoming autonomous and having these green roofs, maybe some kind of production. You know, there's this aquaponic, there's all sorts of systems where we could actually produce our own food. Like it, luckily legalized growing, what's the hemp? I don't know. Hempcrete? I don't know what's that. Good morning, welcome. I don't know what's a hempcrete. That's a new word. Sorry, English is not my first language, so there is the ducks spotted me and just ran away, a couple. So identified me as unsafe. So anyway, just one more view of this, and then we are going towards the old town. I have to do some shopping. Actually, a mountain's boots I'm shopping because of that. That's drawing me to get to it. Concrete made. Ah, okay, I see. That's an interesting aspect. Losing their identity. Great point. I agree with you as well on that. Absolutely. And I think it's most prominent in the eastern. Is the non-high version. Ah, really? Okay. So that's for the medicinal purposes. Yes, they are covered in snow, Keizo, and the snow is very unusual for the coast. This is to have a great time. The dog walker, and thanks for joining. A fantastic scoper. Thank you. I know it's quite late actually for both you and Keizo. So now it's just a local park, and then in a minute we are going to see this Justinian wall built in the 6th century, and then we are going to walk through the UNESCO protected site, the old town, and walking by your side. Exactly, that's what I've been saying, and that's this power of live streaming. It's actually in bringing people together in one point in time and space as well, because this is as good as you actually walking with me and experiencing Winkyville. Welcome. You know, that's also one of my fascinations with Terrence Malick. He always says, you know, he wants to experience, he wants to share the experience rather than a story, because every experience has a story and we all have a different interpretation. Edible plant, protein, seed, textile concentrate placement, and plastic replacement. Wow, that's a fantastic. Like, I'm sure, sorry, I had to cross the street. Okay, they just stopped even though it wasn't a green light in here. Oh wow, well, we are warm compared to that. If I was there, people just say hello, they would be looking at you as if you have a few heads. That would be very, very strange. At this point in time, I thank you so much. Thank you, Tricky Ricky. Lovely to have you. Looks heavenly at the moment, but as I said before, it also has the dark side. So yeah, and it's just amazing. It replaces paper. Wow, it's such a such a diverse element. I have to Google that. I have to learn more about it. Thanks for letting me know about him. Yeah, definitely, Andrew Sanders. Keizo, thanks so much for inviting. Everyone, please share and connect. Okay, so now I will go there, behind the walls. By the way, before I go in there, this side of the old town was very attractive for the Ottomans. And they actually managed to break through in here. They managed to break it, but they withdrew because it was just too much of a trouble conquering this. Then they kind of, I think for about, I think it's about a century, in 1600, something like that, they actually had the control of the place. So sorry, the light is very bad at the moment because of the sun. You see how quickly the sun changes. Yeah, maybe that's a little bit better. And yeah, but it was settled during the Roman times when it was known as Asprovium. Okay, so maybe it's better now. Look at all of that snow. I'm excited, delighted about it. Happy to farewell. Absolutely, thank you, Ricky. Farewell to you too as well, exactly. And also, let's keep in touch. Let's unite. This town is Kotor. If you put, I think I put on the location, so you should be able to swipe out and see it exactly on the map. So it's Kotor, K-O-T-O-R. Kotor was the name before. During the Italians, Austro-Hungarians also had the control. They were building all sorts of fortresses on top of the mountains right before the invention of the airplanes, which made them obsolete. It's visually interesting. A few times I've seen this view. Really, yes, I know. I was just thinking, as soon as that sun gets out behind of the clouds, I definitely have to do more video, sort of more photos. Please go ahead. That's why we are here to discuss. Night King Castle. Night King Castle. What's that? Nice battle. Meant you can imagine how protected the town. Yes, exactly. And that's why I started talking about it at the moment, and we're looking at the wall. So it's all walled in and even over the mountains. But the interesting thing is that one over the mountains was actually ordered by the famous emperor, Roman Emperor Justinian. Ah, this is all inspired by cats. Look at that. Main cats, good cats. I don't know what that means. Roman century, yes. Centurion? Century? Roman, is that what I said? Roman century, Roman Empire. So the mostly administration afterwards, it was actually built during the Venetian times. The mountains offering protection, yes, but also like that meant that they had a good overview. Now there is a bit of decoration for the celebration, and the cannon. Which side do you prefer, in front or at this side? You know, this is all our history. Whoever is on which side, either we are on this side of the cannon or else we are on this side. So that determines the power, canonization. This side, exactly, the first side, I think. The one that's behind, that's aggressors. That seems to be a preferred one. Thank you. Yeah, it's right. So there is still, now by the way, the reason why you still see the Christmas tree in here is because Christmas in here, this is the Orthodox Christianity, and it happens on the 7th. Must not any history, in fact. And that's what you just said. Heating system, do you guys have? Well, actually, because this is unusual, this is very unusual weather, this kind of minuses for this area. So I think that people are not really that prepared. And then the cat is coming over to me, brushing. And then meow, I have nothing to give you. Look at that, she is going to follow me now. Or he. She's following, and she just went straight. Strange. Well, imagine that. I sometimes have cats following me. It might be a sign of being a witch in my previous life. Or a male witch. So interesting. I know, thank you. I know, very cute. Kitty. I know I can't take home because I already kind of adopted the 2 feral ones. And anyway, I'm too far away. Maybe this cat belongs to somebody. You know, people just live around and they let the cat roam. So that could be a cat stalling, caticide, can we put it that way? So definitely not. So just a bit of the views inside. Everything you see around, most of it anyway, is built between 13th and 18th century. During the Venetian side, catnapping. Roman Emperor, did you mention? Justinian. He's one of the last, actually, Roman Emperor was doing the fortification over the mountain, and we actually went. Your voice got an echo, really? Kesa, wow. A lot of tourism during the summertime, August, and August through maybe July a bit as well. Bad smell? No, none of the bad smell actually. Nemanja, I know why you ask, because sometimes the sewage system is not the best in these kind of places because they're so old. So the Justinian is over there, is where he ordered. That's why that wall, and that's why it's so significant historically. And another cat, look at that interesting one. There are such interesting species I've never before. Look at the cats. He's looking at the cannon. Wants to decide which side of the cannon he wants to be. The side of the victim or the side of the victor. Mountains so overpowering above the town. Yes, very much. But also psychologically, I don't think that that's the best thing for this place. Canonization of Maciej. And the 2 of them. Now the other one is also interested to see what's in there. And look at this one, just sleeping. That's a Russian, maybe a mix of the Russian blue. Switzerland, no, it's not Switzerland, but does remind, especially with those mountains top covered in snow. So it's Kotor. Okay, that's a marine museum actually, and this palace was built in the 18th century. Just let me share a little bit of the views, all the Venetian inspired. This is all UNESCO protected site, by the way, so you guys, you can maybe share if you like this, so as more people can appreciate. Waka can speak Katai. What's that? Katake. Katake, canonization. Mountains affect internet. Yes, that's why I can't really scope that much. It's okay over there. We actually climbed a few times. If some of you want to scroll back onto some of my older scopes, you'll easily find where we are climbing, but be warned, there are a lot of music and painting in between that was happening that I was sharing with the world. So, by the way, my scarf is all displaced. I need to position it properly without suffocating me. One moment. Okay. Now we are good. This is a private sign, do not read, which is for sure that we'll read it, isn't it? Reverse psychology. Inform us about the carnival. Carnival in Kotor happens in August, isn't it? And believe it or not, I only attended it once as a child because I grew up in Tibet, nearby, where my grandmother lived. So, but interestingly, I'm not too keen on the lot. Is it a winter? Really? You see, now this is the first time that I'm staying in here at this time. That looks like a Milky Way. So this is the old part. Now that's the Orthodox Church. Is there big malls or small nice shops? Yes, a lot of small shops, but I wouldn't recommend shopping in the old town because it's all inflated in terms of prices. There is a small shopping center which I'm going to be looking at because of these mountain shoes that I want. Hola, welcome. And then, oh, fantastic. Thank you as well for being here. Actually, people yesterday when I was sharing a bit of my musical scopes, my practicing session on the piano, and asked me, it has been a while since you did the walk, and anyway, I'm around here for some things to finish, so it's a good to roam around a little bit. The seaside during the winter carnivals are essential, true as well. Except for me, I can climb the mountains and do all sorts of music and art. I actually don't like the crowds, so total introvert. Shoes like that, you do, yeah? I need to get, I feel I must be silent there. It's very, any must have item in those stores. No, it's not mine, it's that lady's. I have a very invisible and unsounded, no sound in my shoes. So the shops are mostly t-shirts, yes, mostly cruise ship hoards, greatly put. Fantastic. Yeah, mostly actually we lost some light inside, so I'm kind of keen to get out also because it's cold. Step dance for us, that would be very funny. Well, if maybe if people were a little bit more relaxed and willing to talk to each other. I don't know, I've been in Serbia just a few times, Belgrade and so on. Are people also uptight? I have a feeling that in Montenegro they are maybe the most uptight of the regions. I hear a strange sound. No, that's because of the seagulls. Now, I'm sorry if you lose my signal. I'm going through one of the main doors. Can you more often creative voices? Absolutely, definitely. Then and sing mythology song. Look at that. It's the center of seagulls, as long as they don't attack. Look at that. Wow. I have no clue. I haven't seen or heard from them since I think they just showed up for a month. I came that year, maybe it was the year before last, and really climbed that mountain. Maybe it would be a great thing to do actually. Seagulization. Salt, yes, it's all salt water except that that's the spring, so it's mixing. So I did not know what's going on with the seagulls. Look at them. So near. You know that the seagull is the worst enemy to the person that's drowning because they go for the eyes. Oh, I love it. This feels like Hitchcock since the hurricane in Puerto Rico. Is that what happened? Is it connected to the hurricane that they disappeared? I have no clue. Maybe. Yeah, that makes sense because I was exchanging some messages but never after some time. So I really don't know. Very strange. I've never seen this so focused. Maybe they're fighting over food or else it's a group of them. His family is from there. Maybe, yeah. He was out. shoot hours. What do you mean? Oh, and there is that kind of seal. Yes, that's a very good point, Richard. I have no clue. I think that well, I've never met him in person, but we were just in touch over messages, and I know that I saw them scoping a few times, and then I didn't see it at all. Some people were asking, so I was just wondering what's going on, but yeah, we didn't got the response. Maybe they'll be back, who knows. Hot coffee, please. Yes, I think that I'll have to actually. That's why I'm actually standing in here, because I want to close the scope, the thing, and yes, exactly, radius island. So I don't know. Just yeah, thank you. It's very, very nice. Hold on a second, maybe that's the best, because this is so unique. This is very unusual, actually, to have that amount of snow. So I think that now maybe I'll be finishing this scope with you guys, and maybe I might tune in later, I don't know, but definitely connect and share if you find this of inspiration. So I have to Žabljak? Žabljak. Yeah, Žabljak that's a mountainous part. So thanks so much, everyone. Bye bye. See you next time. I might stream later. I'll see. It depends on the time. I need to get these mountain shoes. Bye. Thank you, Keizo. Bye.